Hari Om, everyone. Good morning to everybody in the US. Good evening to everybody in India. We are happy to have the Bharati Stotrabodha series talk number 33 today on the power and importance of Shiva Mahima Stotra of Pushpadanta. And we're very honored to have the keynote speaker, Dr. C.M. Neelakandan, who's a Sanskrit Sahitya scholar. And he's retired, but he's still, a reader, professor of Vedic studies, active in the Shankaracharya University of Sanskrit, Kaladi. So today's program will have the Veda Kusumanjali, followed by the Stotra recitation, and then my father, Dr. Prabhakar, will introduce the speaker. And then we'll have concluding remarks and vote of thanks. So with that, I'd like to have Sri Shivalingaya and Shivati Purni Subbu to please give the Veda Kusuma.
Bhadram.
Yeah, continue.
Om Bhadram Karnevi Shrunuyama Deva Bhadram Pashyema Akshabhiryajatra Sirairangai Tuštuvagum Sastanubihi Yashema Devahitam Yadayuhu Swasti na Indro Vruddhashravah Swasti na Pusha Vishwavedaः Swasti nastakshriyo arishtanihi Swasti no Bruhaspatirdadatu Om Shanti 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 Om Agnenaya Supataraye Asman Vishwani Deva Vayunani Vidwan Yuyodhyasman Jivuranavi Puyistam Te Nama Uttim Videva Om Shanti 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 Om Abhyayantu Mama Angani Vapranachakshushu Stotramadhu Balamindriyani Cha Sarvani Sarvam Brahma Upanishadham Maham Brahma Nirakuryam Mama Brahma Nirakarotu Anirakaranastu Anirakaranam me astu Tadatmai nirate ya Upanishatsu dharmaः te mai santu te mai santu te mai Om Shanti 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 Om Brahman Brahmano Brahmavarchasi Jayatam Arashtre Rajanyah Shura Ishavyo Ativyadi Maharatho Jayatam Dogdri Denurvo Odhanadvan Ashuhus Saptihi Purandiryosha Jishno Rateshtaham Sabheyo Yuvam Asya Yajamanasya Viro Jayatam Nikame Nikame Naha Pajjanyo na Vashyatu Phalavatyo na Oshadayaham Pachyatam Yogakshemao Naham Kalpetam Om Shanti 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 Om Hari Om Om Shri Krishnarpanamastu Shri Veda Purusho Ashirvadostu Om Tat Sat Om.
Thank you, Shivalingaya, Purni, and family, and Rajgopalan. I said, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So we're now going to play the Stotra recitation by Sri Uday Ravi and Srimati Sudha.
श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां भिषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां श्री दक्षिणामूर्ते नमः। अथ शिव महिम्ना स्तोत्रम्। ओम नमः शिवाय। महिम्नः पारन्ते परम विदुषो यद्यसदृशे स्तुतिर्ब्रह्मादीनामपि तदवसन्नास्त्वयि गिरः अथा वाच्यः सर्वः स्वमिति परिणामावधिगृणान् ममाप्येष स्तोत्रे हरनिरपवादः परिकरः अतीतपन्थानां तव च महिमा वाङ्मनसयो तद्व्यावृत्यायं चकितमभिदत्ते श्रुतिरपि स कस्य स्तोतव्य कथविदगुण कस्य विषयः पदे त्वार्वचीने पतति न मनः कस्य न वचः मधुस्पीता वाचः परममृतं निर्वितवता स्तव ब्रह्मन् किं वागपि सुरगुरोर्विस्मयपदं मत्वेतां वाणीं गुणकथमप्येण भवतः पुनामीत्यर्थेऽस्मिन् पुरमथन बुद्धिर्व्यवसिता तवैश्वर्यं यत्तज्जगदुदयकारप्रलयकृत त्रयीवस्तु व्यस्तं तिसृशो गुणाभिन्नासु तनुषो अभव्यानामस्मिन् वरदा रमणीया परमणिं विहन्तुं व्याक्रोशिं विदधता इहैक्ये जडधियः किमिह किं कायः सखलो किमुपायस्त्रिभुवनं किमाधारो धाता सृजति किमुपादान इति च अतैर्कैश्वर्ये त्वयैनवसरा दुस्थो हतधियः कुतर्कोऽयं कांश्चिन्मुखरयति मोहाय जगतः अजन्मानो लोकाः किमवय भवन्तोऽपि जगता मधिष्ठातारं किं भवितिरनादृत्य भवति अनीशो वा कुर्यात् भुवनजनने कः परिकरं यतो मन्दास्त्वां प्रत्यमरवर संशेरत इमे त्रयी साङ्ख्यं योगः पशुपतिमतं वैष्णवमिति प्रभिन्ने प्रस्थाने परिमितमथ पथ्यमिति च रुचीनां वैचित्र्या धृजकुटिलनानापदजुषां नृणामेको गम्यस्त्वमसि पयसामर्णव इव महोक्षखट्वाङ्गं परशुरजिनं भस्मफणिनः कपालं चेति यत्तव वरदा तन्त्रोपकरणं सुरास्तां तां वृद्धिं दधतितो भवद्भ्रूप्रणहितां नहि स्वात्मारामं विषयमृगतृष्णा भ्रमयति ध्रुवं कश्चित् सर्वं सकलमपरस्त्वं ध्रुवमिदं परो द्रव्ये जगति गति व्यस्तविषये समस्तेऽप्येतस्मिन् पुरमथनतैर्विस्मतैव सुवञ्जिह्रेमि त्वां न खलो ननु दृष्ट्वा मुखरता तवैश्वर्यं यत्नाद्यदुपरि विरिञ्चिर्हरिः परच्छेतुं यातावन लमनला स्कन्दवपुषः ततो भक्तिश्रद्धा भरगुरो कृणाभ्यां गिरिशयत् स्वयं तस्ते ताभ्यं तव किमु न वृत्तिर्न फलति। ओम शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। यदक्षरपदभ्रष्टं मात्राहीनं चेद्भवेत् तत्सर्वं क्षम्यतां देव। मात्राणि विसर्गबिन्दुमात्राणि पदपादाक्षराणि च न्यूनातिरिक्तानि क्षमस्व पुरुषोत्तमा महेश्वरा। ओम शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। कृष्णार्पणमस्तु।
The last 10 slokas will be recited by Sudha, so that we'll be covering the 43rd slokas, the entire Stotram.
Namaste Guruji. Shiva Mahima Stotra, shloka from 31 to 40. कृशपरिणतिच्चेत क्लेशवश्यं क्वचेदं क्वच तव गुणसीमोल्लङ्घिनि शश्ववृत्तिः इति चकितममन्दीकृत्य मां भक्तिराधाद् वरदचरणयोस्ते वाक्यपुष्पोपहारम् असितगिरिसमं स्यात् कज्जलं सिन्धुपात्रे सुरतरुवरशाखा लेखनी पत्रमुर्वी लिखति यदि गृहीत्वा शारदा सर्वकालं तदपि तव गुणानामीश पारं न याति असुरसुरमुनीन्द्रैरर्चितस्येन्दुमौले ग्रथितगुणमहिम्नो निर्गुणस्येश्वरस्य सकलगणवरिष्ठ पुष्पदन्ताभिधानः रुचिरमलघुवृत्तै स्तोत्रमेतच्चकार अहरहर नवद्यं दूर्झटे स्तोत्रमेतत् पठति परमभक्त्या शुद्धचित्तः पुमान्यः स भवति शिवलोके रुद्रतुल्यस्तथात्र प्रचुरतरधनायु पुत्रवान् कीर्तिमांश्च महेशान्नापरो देवो महिम्नो नापरा स्तुतिः अघोरान्नापरो मन्त्रो नास्ति तत्त्वं कुरो परम् दीक्षादानं तपस्तीर्थं ज्ञानं यागादिका क्रियाः महिम्नस्तव पाठस्य कालां नार्हन्ति षोडशीम् कुसुमदशननामा सर्वगन्धर्वराजः शशिधरवर मौलेर्देवदेवस्य दासः न खलु निजमहिम्नो भ्रष्ट एवास्य रोषात् स्तवनमिदमकार्षीद् दिव्यं महिम्नः सुरगुरुमभिपूज्य स्वर्गमोक्षैकहेतुं पठति यदि मनुष्यः प्राञ्जलिर्नान्यचेताः व्रजति शिवसमीपं किन्नरैस्तूयमानः स्तवनमिदममोघं पुष्पदन्तप्रणीतम् श्रीपुष्पदन्तमुखपङ्कजनिर्गतेन स्तोत्रेण किल्बिषहरेण हरप्रियेण कण्ठस्थितेन पठितेन समाहितेन सुप्रीणितो भवति भूतपतिर्महेशः असमाप्तमिदं स्तोत्रं पुण्यं गन्धर्वभाषितम् अनौपम्यं मनोहारी सर्वमीश्वरवर्णनम् तव तत्त्वं न जानामि कीदृशोऽसि महेश्वर यादृशोऽसि महादेव तादृशाय नमो नमः एककालं द्विकालं वा त्रिकालं यः पठेन्नरः सर्वपापविनिर्मुक्तः शिवलोके महीयते इत्येषा वाङ्मयी पूजा श्रीमच्छङ्करपादयोः अर्पिता तेन देवेशः प्रियतां मे सदा शिवः इति श्रीपुष्पदन्तविरचितं शिवमहिम्नस्तोत्रं समाप्तम्। नमस्ते गुरुजी।
Thank you, Sri Udaya Ravi and Srimati M.V. Sudha. Now I'll play a Sangeetanjali.
पर्वतराजकुमारी वे पर्वतराजकुमारी वे पर्वतराजकुमारी देवी బ్రోచుటకు వేగమే రావే పర్వతరాజకుమారి దేవి నన్ను బ్రోచుటకు వేగమే రావే పర్వతరాజకుమారి దేవి నన్ను బ్రోచుటకు వేగమే రావే పర్వతరాజకుమారి దేవి నన్ను బ్రోచుటకు వేగమే రావే పర్వతరాజకుమారి నీవే గతియని నమ్మియుంటి గత నీవే గతియని నమ్మియుంటి గత నా మురళిడగా జేపమౌమా మా తల్లి నీవే గతియని నమ్మియుంటి గత నా మురళిడగా జేపమౌమా మా తల్లి రవే పర్వతరాజకుమారి దేవి నన్ను బ్రోచుటకు వేగమే రావే పర్వతరాజకుమారి మీనలోచని కృపజూటవౌమా అంబ మీనలోచని కృపజూటవౌమా దీనరక్షకి యని బిరుదు నీకు తక్కు దీనరక్షకి యని బిరుదు నీకు తక్కు దానవరిపు తోషిణి పురాణి అంబదానవరిపు తోషిణి పురాణి అంబదానవరిపు తోషిణి పురాణి అభయదానమీయవే శ్యామ కృష్ణ సోదరి రవే పర్వతరాజకుమారి దేవి నన్ను బ్రోచుటకు వేగమే రవే పర్వతరాజకుమారి
That's great. Thank you so much. So, Nana, can you please introduce the speaker and the
Yeah,
topic?
now it's my chance because we have made Veda Kusumanjali to the feet of Lord Rudra. Similarly, Sangeeta Anjali making praise of the wife of Shiva, Parvata Raja Kumari. So with this, invoking the blessings of Mahatma, Shiva and Parvati together, I am to introduce Dr. Neelakanthan, who is already known to us, familiar, and in fact, he is one who has inaugurated the Stotra section of our Nadaveda Adhyayana Kendra and giving all Shankaracharya. And last year, I think he has spoken about the Shiva Mahima Stotra, the apologies that one has got to do. And this is also another one like that, which Shiva Mahima Stotra, which our Dr. Neelakantan, his biodata runs to number of pages. He has been working right from, I'm aware of his greatness and scholarship and contribution and friendship, right from 1993 or so, 4 or so. So, and now the latest thing that I should mention about Dr. Neelakantan is he has been working for the past so many years, and he has collected all his writings and brought out a beautiful book by name Sanskrit and Indological Studies, News Perspectives. And he has brought all, and this is for sale also, and we are just trying to order one copy also to our library of the Nadaveda Adhyayana Kendra. And so you can imagine he has been working to promote the music, dance, and all that in the Kala Kendras in Kerala, and so very active member. So I requested since long that he should do on Shiva Mahima Stotra, talking about the Mahima of Shiva. And now I request Dr. Neelakantan, not my talking much about the Shiva Mahimna, because it's also a kind of Aparadha Stotra where that Pushpadanta, the author of this Mahimna Stotra, committed a dangerous mistake because he just trampled over the Nirmalya of Lord Shiva, and therefore he lost the power of invisibility. And again, he got back by making prayer to Shiva. That prayer is this stotra, where Shiva is pleased and gives back the Mahima that Yaksha Pushpadanta could afford all the time. So with these few words, we want to listen more from our Dr. Neelakantan. So I just request him to open up and talk to us on that. And after this, of course, Rajagopalan is there from Nemesis, USA. And he would be, because he is the first person who just introduced the idea, sir, I want to have Shiva Mahima Stotra. Not my talking, I will be talking all with him. He's a student of Veda learning and all that. Not my talking, let Dr. Neelakantan, a Kerala professor, speak to him before. And so I arrange all these things. So welcome to him.
Am I audible? And
yes, please go on.
thank you very much. Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Respected Prabhakarji and his associates who are organizing this beautiful lecture series in the national, international level. I'm always happy to join with the association of Dr. Prabhakar and his associates, because he is doing these works with a dedication and a sincerity and with a vision to disseminate our traditional knowledge, particularly related to spiritualism, humanism, Vedic cult, universal brotherhood, etc. So this time I was busy with many other schedules, but keeping away all things, I decided to join with Prabhakar. Actually, I have to join for a marriage reception from 7 p.m. Indian Standard Time. time I am sitting for this discourse. But I decided to devote myself for the discourse. Now, already the first 10 slokas and the last 10 slokas, first 10 verses and last 10 verses of the Shiva Mahima Stotra have been recited here in the beginning very beautifully. And in the introductory speech of Dr. Prabhakar and those who recited the verses, it is clear that Shiva Mahima Stotra is a stotra that contains about 43 verses, 43 slokas in Sanskrit. And it is believed that a Gandharva named Pushpadanta composed these verses. And Dr. Prabhakar already described a legend by which Pushpadanta composed these verses. He did some mistake and as a he got a course, and to avoid the consequences of the course, he was advised to compose the verses in Sanskrit praising Lord Shiva. And he was happy, or he got release or emancipation, whatever it is. Though this is a legend that we know, because legends described in Puranas and Idihasas, they only show that they are not real, as all of us know, but all these legends will have some sociological, psychological, historical, geographical legends and myths and legends. We cannot ignore them, because all such myths and legends will have some psychological or sociological or historical or geographical, cultural truth underlying them, which will be very important for us even today. So such in Puranas and Idihasas, Idihasa Puranabhyam Vedartham Upabrimhayet. It is very well known. The real purport of Veda, the real knowledge of Veda, the real tenets of Veda, the real truth of Veda, that is being disseminated for the common people through Idihasas and Puranas. So there will be legends and myths and stories to attract the common people. And through the legends and myths and stories, the eternal truths, eternal knowledge of divine power will be taught, will be described. So this, all the stotras of Shankara we have seen. Already we have gone through many stotras of Shankara and other scholars, and Shankara, we know, he has written about more than 100 stotras, and he has composed Prakarana Granthas like Mohamudgaram, Egaslogi, Dashaslogi, so many, Bhajagovindam, many Mohamudgaram, many what we call Prakarana Granthas that describe the tenets of Vedanta philosophy beautifully. And he has composed Prasthanatraya, the most important works on Vedanta philosophy. So Shankara's perspective is, it is clear that he looks the society, he views the whole society in three levels. On the highest, the section of the highest level, who has the highest level of mental power, they can understand the real Vedanta philosophy, oneness, universal brotherhood, the whole universal energy that is latent, that is in the individual human being, beyond the Nama Rupa, etc. So that is the highest level. So for those who can understand the highest level of philosophy, the truth, the Prasthanatraya Bhashya, Brahma Sutra Bhashya, Upanishad Bhashya, Gita Bhashya, he has composed. And for those who are in the middle level, psychological level, middle mental power, for them he has written the Prakarana Granthas, in which the highest Vedantic ideals are described in a beautiful way. And for the third level of people with still light-minded, with still low power of mind, for them these stotras will be useful. So Shankara has clearly, Sri Shankara has clearly given us the perspective of these texts. So this is the same way with this Shiva Mahima Stotra also. It is a stotra. It's a stotra work, eulogizing, praising the god Shiva. But through the eulogy, through the praise, the highest principles of Vedanta are described through these verses. So our duty is to understand the true perspective, true humanistic perspective, true Vedantic perspective of these slokas that will give us energy, mental power to work more in the intellectual academic field, and also to work more in the society to uphold the causes of downtrodden and oppressed people, which all of us know Vivekananda or other great leaders of modernity, leaders of humanism, leaders of spiritualism, leaders of national integration, leaders of Neo-Vedanta, they have done, or they have worked in such a perspective. So this is the way to study this stotra also. And another important aspect of this stotra is that the stotra is in the praise of Lord Shiva. And as we know, in the pantheon or among the gods we conceive, there are hundreds of gods in Hindu pantheon. Hundreds of gods in Hindu pantheon. And among them, the 6 very famous, which Shankara has upheld, the Shanmata concept, Shanmata Sankalpa of gods. He has given stress in his stotras, especially to the Shanmata Sankalpa, Shaiva, Vaishnava, Shakteya, then Saurya, Kaumara, Ganapatya. Surya, Kaumara, that is Subramanya, and Ganapatya, Ganapati. So famous three, Shaiva, Vaishnava, Shakteya, and other three added to that, Saurya, Kaumara, Surya, Subramanya, and Ganapati. So it is in the time of Shankara, the three gods who were praised in Vedic times themselves, directly or indirectly. Actually, Shakti is eulogized, not in Veda. Among the female deities, female deities of Veda, Shakti is not very important there. The Shakti cult was taken from or was emerged into the Hindu pantheon or Vedic cult later, and it was received from the Tantric philosophy, as we know, because in Tantric philosophy, Tantric cult, Shakti has most prominent position. The female deity, Shakti. In Vedic literature, female deities are Ushas, many other female deities. They are not equated, they cannot be equated with the Shakti cult that we see in Tantric literature. And actually, Shaiva, Vaishnava, these are very prominent in Veda. And apart from Shiva and Vishnu, in Veda, Indra, etc. were prominent, but they got their importance, they lost their importance later. And Shakti cult was emerged into the Vedic cult later in the time of Shankara. And along with that, at the time of Shankara, other three, Kumara, Ganapati, and Surya, worship became important. And after it is in the, as we understand, 8th century after a common era, 8th century of the common era. And after that, so many other gods also became important in our Hindu Vedic pantheon. So what I am trying to explain here is that in all these praises of gods, the basic tenets of Vedanta, actually the basic tenets of Vedanta of Shankara, they are being explained in all these eulogies of stotras of gods in one way or other. And I think that most of you will know the work of Vidyaranya Madhava, the very famous, important work of Vidyaranya Madhava, Sarva Darshana Sangraha. It is a very important work of Vidyaranya Madhava, who is identified as the commentator of the whole Vedic corpus under the Krishnaraya, under the kings of Andhra in 14th century AD, the ministers of the famous ministers, Adhyayana Madhava. So he has written a very, very beautiful work on Vedanta, and the work is called Sarva Darshana Sangraha. It is a work describing about 16 schools of Vedanta philosophy. Vedanta, spiritualism, actually, what we mean. So, beginning from Charvaka to Shankara Sadvaita, from the Charvaka philosophy, which is fully materialism, which advocates materialism only, nothing in the world away from the materialistic approach, Charvaka philosophy. From that, he then the Sarva Darshana Sangraha, from first Charvaka philosophy and culminating in the Advaita of Shankara. So in between that, about 16, I think, in that Sarvadarshana Sangraha, many philosophies are described related to Shaivism, Vaishnavism, and Shakti cult. So at that time, Adhyayana Madhava is in the 14th century of Common Era. The famous commentator, Sayana Madhava, they are considered as brothers, Sayana and Madhava. So this Vidyaranya Madhava is identified as the Madhava, one among the twins or brothers who commented the whole Vedic corpus in about 14th century under the great kings, Krishadevaraya, etc. So among these 16 schools of philosophy, there are some philosophies related to Shaivism and Vaishnavism and Shakti cult. Many philosophies in the same head. So in Shaivism, in the Sarvadarshana Sangraha, the most important philosophy in Shaivism related to Vedanta philosophy in Shaivism is Kashmirian Shaivism, which is called Pratyabhijna philosophy, which was advocated in Kashmir from 9th century of Common Era to about 12th century of Common Era, 3 or 4 centuries, where great scholars like Ulpala, Mughala Bhatta, many great scholars. And most important among them is, as we all know, Abhinavagupta, the most important, who is revered in the field of philosophy, second to Shankara, we can say, or equal to Shankara. His Tandraloka, Malini Vijayavartika, Pratyabhijna Vimarshini, so many great, very important classical texts are written by him. So Kashmir Shaivism is very akin to, very near to, or almost identical with the Shankara's Advaita philosophy. Apart from Kashmir Shaivism, this Pratyabhijna philosophy is only one among the many branches of Shaiva philosophies that got deep rooted in Kashmir at that time. We have Pratyabhijna is only, we have in Kashmir itself in the 3 or 4 centuries, Krama philosophy, Kula philosophy, Spanda philosophy, Pratyabhijna philosophy, 4 or 5 branches of Shaivism, 4 or 5 branches of Shiva cult, Shaiva cult are there in Kashmir itself, which flourished there in 3 or 4 centuries from 9th century of Common Era to about 12th century. Kalhana's Rajatarangani is a very important work of that time, historical work in historical Kavya in Sanskrit, where all these, the lineage of kings of Kashmir who promoted literature, art, philosophy, etc. at that time is described. So Pratyabhijna philosophy is very important there. Like that, Shaiva philosophy got deep-rooted in South India also. This is North India, Kashmir, northernmost. Shaiva philosophy got deep-rooted in South also. In South India, Shaiva philosophy has many branches. Basava. Then so many branches in South India. All these are akin to, more related to Bhakti cult, whereas in Kashmir it is more related to Vedanta cult. Here it is more related to Bhakti cult in South. And in South there are so many Bhairava cult, so many things, different forms of Shiva, different ways, different studies, and these are all again described in Shiva Puranas, etc., very beautifully in a mythical way. So, in South also we get so many schools of Shiva philosophy, Shiva cult. And many of you, Prabhakar, and many of you will know that there is a great scholar from South who has written the monumental work in Sanskrit literary criticism, very important work in Sanskrit literary criticism, Rasa Gangadhara. Rasa Gangadhara, the most scholarly work in Sanskrit literary criticism at about 17th century in the Common Era. Panditaraja Jagannatha. He is from Telangana, from Telugu religion, and he got the patronage of the kings of Delhi, Shah Jahan, Jahangir, etc. And this is another story. So this Panditaraja, a very great philosopher, very great scholar, very celebrated poet, gifted poet, has written so many works. So in this Rasagangadhara, the name itself denotes that rasa, kavya rasa, the aesthetic pleasure in kavya. It is described. It is a poetical work, Sanskrit literary criticism, and rasa is equated with Gangadhara Shiva, a concept of Shiva, Gangadhara, who bears Ganga in his jata, in his head, as his wife, concealed, sacred wife. So in Rasagangadhara, it is divided into, the text that we get now is divided into, or we get now is in two ananas. Anana means face. We get now first anana and second anana of the great work Rasagangadhara now. And actually, one who closely analyzes the work Rasagangadhara, we can understand that it is not complete. It is an incomplete work. In the second anana, he has, we get the present version after at the end of the description of some alankaras. More topics in poetics, Alankara Shastra has to be described there, and that is, they are not found in the present publication or present book that we get now printed. So the scholars and researchers in Sanskrit literary criticism believe that he might have written the other portions of the great work, or he might have not been able to write the other parts. How we understand this in the research point of view? In the South Indian Shiva concept, South Indian Shiva concept, one of the South Indian Shiva concept, South Indian Bhakti cult of Shiva, there is the concept of 5 faces for Shiva. Panja Anana, 5 faces. Shiva having 5 ananas, 5 faces. Now we have for Brahma, 4 faces, etc. Ravana, 10 faces. These are all myths and legends. So there is the concept of Shiva having 5 ananas. How these 5 ananas he takes, or he becomes active with the 5 ananas for Srishti, Sthiti, Samhara, Anugraha, Tirodhana. This is the concept. Srishti, Sthiti, Anugraha, then Samhara, then Tirodhana. Srishti, Sthiti, Samhara, that is, they are famous. Srishti, Sthiti, Samhara, creating, maintaining, and destroying. But after that, two more phases of activity, God. Two more phases of activity are attributed to the God. And I think this particular concept is famous in our mythology or in our God, concept of God related to Shiva only. That is, Srishti, Sthiti, Samhara, after that, Anugraha, blessing, and Tirodhana disappearing. In one cycle of the world, what we call Yuga, again, mythical concept, a cycle of Srishti, a cycle of the creation and destruction. Shiva is conceived as having 5 phases for Srishti, Sthiti, Samhara, creation, maintenance, destruction, and after that, Anugraha, blessing, and Tirodhana. Again, this cycle begins again in the same way. So, in this way, 5 ananas, and only 2 ananas of Ritsangadhara are getting now. So, the other ananas will be there. Either he might have written then and not getting now, or he could not write. So, what I'm trying to explain is that in all these works, or in all these branches of Shiva philosophy, Shiva concept, both in theism and in Vedantic cults, Shiva is praised in one way or other with the Vedantic concepts, Vedantic ideals. And I will quote 1 or 2 slokas from Shiva Mahima Stotra itself and try to explain as my concluding part of the my presentation, which speaks that all attributes of Shiva, they are all related to the highest reality, highest truth, which is advocated in the high Vedantic texts. Trayi, Sankhyam, Yoga, Pashupati Matam, Pashupata. Pashupata religion, Pashupata cult is one branch of Shaivism. Trayi, Sankhyam, Yoga, Pashupati Matam, Vaishnavamiti, Prabhinne, Prasthane, Paramidam, Adah, Pathyamiticha, Rujinam Vaichitriyat, Riju Kutila, Nana Pathajusham, Nranameko Gamya, Tvamasi, Gamyaha, Tvamasi, Payasam Arnava Iva. A very beautiful words. Different paths to realization, or different paths to the realization of the eternal truth are there. Different, as I explained earlier, Sarvadarsana Sangraha, 16 schools are there. And some of them are different paths described in this sloka. Trayi, 3 Vedas, Rigajus and Sama. Trayi, Sankhya philosophy. Yoga philosophy. Pashupata, representing all schools of Shiva philosophy. Pashupata, doctrine of Shiva. Then Vaishnava Matam. And so the paths to attain the eternal truth inherent in each individual, which is which is to be identical with the universal soul or universal energy. Actually, Vedanta, all these spiritualistic works or spiritualistic thoughts, they are advocating. But what is the power of these stotras? What is the power of Vedanta? Actually, man is the central power in the world, and the whole Shakti or energy of the universe is in man actually. But we are not recognizing, or we are not understanding, we are not knowing that the whole energy, the whole power is in our mind. In one way or other, we are ignorant of our unlimited energy, unlimited power. That is actually the divine power. What is God? What is spiritualism? What is Vedanta? Spiritualism or God or Vedanta is the highest energy or the ultimate energy, the power, universal power that is lying latent in each every individual. That is the punya, blessing of the human creation, which is not entitled to the other species up to human. Nara. Only Nara is entitled to realize this ultimate energy if he works for that sincerely, dedicatedly. If he is not working, he will be a common man, only common species. But if we can realize this power in him and develop that and work for that, and then he can do so many things for the whole world, whole society, whole universe. So this is what is actually explained in all the slokas, directly or indirectly. So Shiva Mahimana means the importance of, or the energy of each and every individual, which we can regain or which we can realize and develop, and we can work for the whole society. So different paths are there, but you can accept in the Shiva, in the works or schools praising Shiva. Shiva is the highest energy. In the works or schools praising Brahma, Brahma is the highest energy. In the works of school praising Vishnu, Vishnu is the highest energy. That is the method of bhakti cult. So this is how we must understand this Shiva Mahima Stotra also. So it is now time. I think I have given the key points in this stotra. The stotra is available in the in Google with Sanskrit commentaries published from Gita Press. Then so many editions with English commentaries also. So this should be the approach for all works of related to Purana or Idihasa or Veda. It should be centralized with the humanism, the power of each and every individual in the life, in the present life. We should be developed, and we should be utilized for the upheaval of the whole society. Thank you very much.
Another sloka, you said 2 slokas. Now you just explained the 7th sloka. What about the next sloka you are charged?
7th. Okay. 7th I have already explained now. Trayi, Sankhyam, Yoga.
Yeah, just now the show one. Another sloka you have quote. You mentioned.
Okay. And the next sloka, I will explain one more sloka. Tavaishwaryam yatnat yadubari virinjir hari radha parichetum Yatvanala Anala Manala Skandha Vapusha Tado Bhakti Shraddha Bhara Guru Girina Bhara Guru Grinanabhyada Girishat. I will okay, 1 minute. I have the Sanskrit text also with me. The 10th sloka is very important. Yes, it is here. Tvamaltmanam Tavaiswaryam Yatnat Yadubari Virinjir Hariratha. Another reading is also there. Yadubari Virinjo Hariratha Parichetum. Yadav Anila Manala Stambha Vapusha. Tado Bhakti Shraddha Bhara Guru Grinadbhyam Girishayat Swayam Tasthe Tabhyam Tvayitava Kim Anuvartirna Phalati. It is again eulogizing, praising Girisha or Shiva in another way. When you took the form of a pillar of fire, Brahma trying from above and Vishnu trying from the below. It is very famous. Brahma and Vishnu trying to examine or check the power of Shiva. One coming from the top, trying from the above, and another coming from the below, failed to measure you. Afterwards, when they praised you with great faith and devotion, you revealed yourself to them of your own accord. Does not surrender to you bear fruit. Because this is also explaining the divine power of Shiva through in the Puranic style. And there are so many slogas, very important slogas. All the 43 slogas can be explained can be explained in this way. I think now our great scholar Prabhakar will continue and add it to the poems, and the August the assembly or the great scholars here will continue to add it to the scholarly discussion, and I also will be benefited. Okay, sir.
Thank you very much. You have done a wonderful job. So trying to bring the background to be connected to the 43 slokas of Shiva Mahima Stotra done by the great scholar Pushpadanta in Aksha himself. And as the legend tells, because he has to get back his power of invisibility, which he lost because he trampled over the Nirmalya of Lord Rudra. And in fact, we know Bhurbhavassoromiti, and we actually Nirmalyam of Shiva belongs to Chandiswara. Actually, Chandiswara did lot of penance and convinced and asked the share of the entire Nirmalyam of Shiva to go to him. And that is the sanctity of the Nirmalyam. Actually, be better than the flowers. The Nirmalya is very powerful because it has touched the image or feet of Lord Rudra or Lord any god. So immediately it acquires the power. Something like when you take that wicks dipped in ghee, there in the beginning you say you just added Agni, and that is shown, Agni added wicks shown to the eyes of Lord Devatas, and their drishti falls on that, and that kind of fire becomes a Divya Agni, and that we try to take that. See, Agnina Yojitam Maya, that's the idea. So I have only added Agnina Yojitam Maya. Sajyam Trivarti Samyuktam Vanhina Yojitam Maya Divya Jyoti Namostute. So that is the transformation of Drishti or Nirmalya of Parameswara. So that such type of, and moreover, the Chitra Varma, so that the king is very clever. he maintained a wonderful garden, flower garden, because he's a king and he wanted to use all the flowers to the god. But this Pushpadanta was stealing the flowers. As you see in nowadays, people going for a morning walk in India. I don't know here, no flowers. So they just, any flower plant is there inside the compound, they try to climb or collect all the flowers and go and do puja in their house. They don't buy the flowers. So that kind of stealing is in practice, but that's not approved at all as per the stotra, that we should not steal flowers, but only when you buy or given by somebody for worship, etc., that only can be used and that is approved. But snatching away and all that is not right. In fact, I used to tell some people, why at all you pluck flowers of others' compound? Because if you do puja with that flowers, the Kshetra Swami gets the phalam, not you. The fellow who is maintaining the tree, flower tree, and who is pouring water and all that, he will get, he may not use the flowers. But if you use, you also give a share to him. And like that, it is all over there in our Indian tradition. So this fellow, Pushpadanta, not realizing the value of the Nirmalyam, he trampled down and Shiva became immensely disturbed. It is something like the Yama throwing his noose or pasha to Markandeya in order to take away his life. But just at that juncture, Markandeya had embraced Lord Shiva Linga. So that pasha touched the Shiva Linga also. That irritated. It is like Padas Prushteva Pannagam. A serpent, if you were to just hit by the foot, it will just suddenly says, it will hiss and bite the fellow. Because Tishna Kopaha Bhujangamaha. Shiva is also a Bhujanga contact. So, like serpent becoming highly angry, irritated at the touch of the foot of the any person. Even today also, we have the Indian culture. By chance, if you touch the foot of anybody, we have to immediately seek for aparadham. See, the foot is a very important sacred text, is a sacred part of our body, because from the foot only, from the feet only, the entire body is being maintained. But for feet, that's why it is said that old age comes to all people, beginning from the foot only. Therefore, the pada is very important. So here, what happened with his own foot or feet, he trampled down that. So Shiva became angry because he's a Bhujanga Adhipati. So he is a Naga, he's a Naga Adhipati also. Therefore, he lost the power. And by making 43 slokas, it is said that Shiva is a Maha Karunavan, Bhola Shankar. He doesn't keep anything with him, nor he doesn't keep anger for a longer time. That is the great characteristics of Lord Rudra. Because Shiva Tanuhu Tayanaha. See, in Rudram, in the first paragraph itself, while appeasing Rudram, we say, Ayas, you are Rudramanyava, Utota Ishave Namaha, Bahave Namaha. And afterwards, but basically, your body, your personality, your stature is Shiva. And therefore, you please take note. That's why you say Namaste Astu Bhagavan Vishveswaraya Mahadevaya Triyambakaya Tripurantakaya Trikagnikalaya Kalagnirudraya Neelakantaya Mrutyunjayaya Sarveswaraya Sadashivaya Sriman Mahadevaya Namaha. Even in the Bhujanga, even in the Stotra, that Pushpadanta has spoken about the Sadashiva Tattva also, because that is the ultimate Tattva or ultimate state of that great God. So every sloka in this is very important. And when he made a Shiva Mahima Stotra, the importance and Mahima of everybody, of Shiva, especially when it is being recognized and praised and promoted and spread for all people for knowledge, then Shiva became absolutely happy. After all, everybody is happy when he's praised. And Dr. Nivalkantan has given wonderful background or the perspective with which we have got to observe or view this particular Shiva Mahima Stotra. It is not a physical dictionary meaning we have got to see. But before this comes, he has quoted Shankaracharya and Kashmir Saivism, Dhanyaloka Karta, Dhanyaloka commentator Abhinav Gupta. And so there is a lot of background. And with this background, then you understand that this particular text is come up, then we really feel that the Mahima of Lord Rudra is unparalleled, unmatched, and unsurpassed. Everybody prostrates to the feet of Shiva, and Shivagna is important. Unless the counter signature of Shiva is there, nothing can be executed. So planning, execution, and expediency. These are the three things: planning in the heaven, planning upon the earth, and execution upon the earth, and expediency because of the dushtas, because of the dharma viruddha or dharma for dharmodharana to take place. Therefore, the birth of Rama or Krishna or any avatars or any is all to represent the Mahima of all of them. Therefore, the 43 slokas form a good book. I request that Dr. Neelakantan to go through the 43 slokas and give a good summary of all of them, as he has tried to give to us. See, of all the slokas, he has picked up the 2 slokas. 7th and 10th, he has not quoted or read that completely. And see, the 7th sloka tells that Nrunam eko gamyaha tvamasi payasam arnavaiva. So this is the last pada of the 7th sloka, which Dr. Krishna Neelakantan spoke, that eko gamyaha nrunam. There is only single ultimate. As he was talking about ultimates, there is only one single ultimate goal for all human beings. Va cancelled, Nara. So Naratvam, that Naratvam is very much difficult to obtain. And also a bhakti towards the Ishvara is also rare. Therefore, eko gamyaha shivaha nrunam. And this is Tomasi. How like? The beautiful comparison, Upmalankara is being given, that Payasam Arnavaiva. Our Rajagopalan has put wonderful symbolic background that you see the ocean, waves are constantly coming and hitting. And the ocean is nothing but the merging of any and every river that flows, Jivanadis, and they merge. And all rivers, before they merge into ocean, would reflect, oh, all my glory of life gone. I have to lose my identity. I have to merge myself into ocean. One way it is happy, another way it is unhappy. Because happiness and unhappiness is there in all rivers before they get merged into the ocean. But look at the oceans. Oceans and ocean do not mix at all. When you go to the Kanyakumari, where 3 oceans you can see, you can see the ending of each ocean, but no ocean mixes. That is Shiva Shakti, Vishnu Shakti, and Brahma Shakti. They are all independently managed. As Neelakantan said, Srishti, Sthiti, Laya. These 3 things are to take place. So these 3 departments are being chaired by Brahmadeva, and Sthiti by Vishnu, and Laya by Shiva. So these 3 people are there with all energy, Shakti. So all the time, our Neelakantan was talking about the energy and utilization and elevation and maintenance and acquisition, etc. of the energies only. Every man is an energy. Every man is a style. Every man is a fashion. So that you observe Payasa Mannayova. And again, in the 10th sloka, which our professor picked up, the last pada is Swayam taste tabhyam tava kimanuvruttaha na phalati. It is a beautiful hope and promise given by Pushpadanta, as his experience would be, that anybody who takes to the prayer, he will become definitely rewarded with what he wants. So, and moreover, Shiva is tabhyam swayam taste. And kim anuvrittim napalate. So which behavior, which conduct, which appeal, which eulogy will go waste. Everything will have palastruti and phalam. So like that, we cannot talk much about the 43 slokas, but we will be having we'll have an article from him, and also we'll have a report about that. And now Rajgopalan is there. In fact, Rajgopalan, who is now to summarize, he said, "Sir, I want to learn to read the pronunciation." That is a later part. Now, as a matured devotee of Lord Rudra, he is learning Rudram and Mahanyasam and all that. So he has some ideas upon Rudra, and I'm not taking anything. We have beautiful praise to Shiva, especially on Chaitra Masam. And today some people are observing the Sankasta Hara Ganapati, Saivas. So Sakteya, Saivas, and Ganapatyam. And in fact, he said about how many Shaktis are there. So Ganapatya. Today we are all respecting. And of course, Ganapati and Shiva, they are not different. Because each other, Ganapati was present when he has to do the Girija Kalyanam. Ganapati is not at all having any date of birth or any, she's a Sanatana Brahma. So that's why remembering Sankasthara Ganapati today and making Lord Rudra, his father, will be remembered and realized, especially by a strong devotee like Pushpadanta. I think it's my comments on that. In fact, Paramba Yogamaya, who is a professor of Sanskrit in the Orissa, in the Puri, working in the Sanskrit University, she was to come and add it. When I asked her, she said, "Sir, every day we recite the Shiva Mahima Stotram in our house. Without Shiva Mahima Stotram being recited, we don't go for work." That is the devotion that her name is that Parahamba Yogamaya. You can imagine. So I think next time she would take her turn to give her own comments to wrap up the whole show. But meanwhile, I have requested Dr. Anjaneya Prasad, my son, to add some comments also, because that person is absent, to the lecture, beautiful scholarly lecture given by our friend, philosopher, and this professor, Dr. Nilakanthan. Now, Dr. Anjaneya Prasad, who is all in all, who is versed in the music, science, and in the Stotra complex. Thank you. Come.
Thank you, Nana. So thank you, Dr. Nilakanthan sir, for a very wonderful talk. And as I heard and understood this, I've not read this before, but it is just overwhelming bhakti and love and praise for Shiva that is unparalleled. So much information about the glory of Shiva, the Mahima of Shiva is embedded in this wonderful composition. It can be done musically. It is very poetic and full of praise for Shiva. And you have really provided a very nice background to understand the bhakti and also the Mahima of Shiva in multiple perspectives from different historic ways. We have tried to inculcate Shiva's Mahima in our culture here. So I appreciate the talk a lot, and I've learned a lot. So thank you so much for your very wonderful talk today.
Any questions anybody who could ask? Nilakanthan will be able to explain. No questions probably. So because his lecture is so clear, no questions to him. And actually now I will ask Sri Neela Rajagopalan from NEMSIS USA to add some, why at all he wanted to pick up this Shiva Mahima Stotram of all the Shiva Stotras, and wanted to know what it contains. And moreover, symbolically, he has got a ocean behind. As I said, Payasa Marnava Yuva, 7th sloka. So Shiva Mahima is an ocean. It is impossible for us to explore a ocean and say any and everything. Although there are so many studies on oceanography, but that is not at all complete. So now Rajgopalan, please make some remarks and vote of thanks.
Shri Guru Namaha. Thank you for giving this opportunity, and it was so wonderful to hear Dr. Neelakantan and Dr. Prabhakar Garu talking the significance of Shiva Mahima. The background of Shiva Mahima, in year 2019, I had the fortune of going to Kailash, and I was going with a group, and it was one guru who was a follower of Bhrigu Maharishi. He was taking the group, and in the first stop in Lhasa, he turned to me and said, "You have to chant Shiva Mahima Stotra the way Hariharan chants in Manasarovar." So that is how because I was able to chant Brahma Murari, Lingatagam, Vilvatagam, and Rudram, but he picked something which I have not done before. So it gave me a homework for the whole trip. The 10 days during the acclimatizing, I was practicing the sloka. Guruji, today I did not, because the way you split and beautifully teach, I want to learn from you, and that's why it's not that I ignored your homework. So Shiva Mahima, that's how it was implanted. And as we went to Manasarovar, we were in a tent. Actually, from nowhere there was a flute sound was coming. Like, it was so serene, the atmosphere was so serene. And but because of the altitude, you have to know to which pitch you start and everything. It really brings you to the reality of nothing, everything is Shiva. There, I know I had to, he made me, I first did 6 slokas I chanted, and that is how, but I always had, and in the last line it says, whoever recites Shiva Mahima Stotra, his putras and putris became Kirtima. That means not only what he gets, getting the palam of Shiva is guaranteed, and also the generations also get affected. And it is a very powerful sloka, but it needs, that's why I wanted to tell. And thank you for all this opportunity. And Guruji, I'm sincerely looking forward to learning each sloka from you.
Okay. So thank you very much, Rajagopal. You recited 6 slokas in front of Manasarovar in the Kailas. That itself is a Mahaparchun.
Yes.
2019 gone. In 2024, 5 years afterwards, Panchamukha Shiva.
Yes.
So 5 years.
Yeah, that Falatam was I'm now learning Mahanyasam from you. See, the phalam of everything has a very, we don't realize what everything does. And God is, then I came to know you, and now I'm learning how to become Shiva. And so it is a blessing. And I will just, this background, I never put a virtual background in the past, if you had seen in my classes. But today it was like Mr. Neelakantan is from Kerala, so there is a beautiful coconut tree also, and it brings different thing, and also the ocean, like you said, Shiva is an ocean, the Shakti is an ocean. We all have to we have to merge with the ocean.
So I wish Dr. Neelakantan, if he's there, can he?
Yes, I am here.
Yeah,
Prabhakar, thank you for giving me the opportunity again, and many thanks for the comments on my lecture. And you have also added very serious thoughts related to you are very learned, we are friends. You are also very learned in all these fields. Thank you very much. Thank you all for giving me the platform again. Luckily I could join today again. Thank you.
And
when are you coming to Bangalore?
Yeah, after 2 or 3 months we'll be there with you.
Okay.
So you
thank you
please
very
draft your article and let it go into the Veda Ganga or
much.
so.
Yes,
Huh?
definitely. I
Your
will.
it's your homework. In spite of several things, this is also added for your homework. Shiva Mahimna. Shiva will sit in your head and make you, because you gave
Okay.
wonderful background. Because with what perspectives we have to read the stotras, that is what is important. It's not only
Yes.
punyam and going. We don't know whether we get punyam or papam by reciting, but
Okay.
our meter reading is there in the heaven, but not with us. But still, we
Yes.
have to do something. So,
Okay.
kind of
I will try immediately. Thank
yeah,
you.
take your own sweet early time and then finish up. Now, I request Prasad to conclude, and whether Sivalinga is there. Yeah, you think he can recite Sivalinga? Yeah, I think.
I will recite.
Okay,
Om
you recite.
भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यसेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्ठनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीकृष्णार्पणमस्तु